Good Wednesday afternoon, San Antonio. You've discovered the first episode of the Apartment 210 podcast. This is your host, Jason. Since this is our first episode, I'm just going to go ahead and briefly explain kind of my approach here, what it is that I'm trying to do, my goals for this show. So essentially, most of your radio shows, your podcasts, they follow more of an interview style format. And I want to try something a little bit different. I want to focus more on honest conversations with real people. I want to try to get it to flow in more of a conversation style rather than an interview. An interview has an agenda. An interview has an interviewer and an interviewee. It's like an interrogation almost. I don't know. I want to record basically two people speaking, two people getting to know each other, or well, I guess in a sense it's a little one-sided because it is going to be a little bit more about me getting to know my guest and also giving you all the opportunity to get to know my guest. So an interview views people in terms of they are what they do, whereas a conversation recognizes that a person is more than what they do. I'm still going to discuss the events of a person's life, and that may be somewhat anchored in what they have done with their life. Like that's a good springboard to dive into a deeper, more comprehensive conversation. Anyways, so that's the idea behind this whole podcast. I'm here today with my very gracious guest, Jovette. She's been very patient with me here on this first episode. And so just a little bit of background about my guest, Jovette. Let's see, she's originally from the country of Panama. She lived in Brooklyn for a while. She became a Marine. She's been a teacher. She is currently a teacher, and she has been and still is a personal training coach. And so we're going to talk about all of that. So why don't you go ahead and say hello, Jovette?
Hello, guys. How are y'all doing?
All right. So Jovette, you are originally from the country of Panama.
Yes, sir.
And what can you tell us about that?
That everybody wants to go there.
Everybody wants to go to Panama. I didn't even know that I wanted to go to Panama.
You do. You just didn't know it. See?
That's true. Well, I have talked to you a little bit about the country, and I have to say it sounds like a beautiful place.
It definitely is. The last time I was there was 2015. I was born there. I left there when I was 3. I went and I lived in Brooklyn, and we would always go every year. Pretty much until my little sister came along, and then all travel stopped because apparently having kids were expensive. My mom's like, "No, we can't do that anymore. You can't travel during the summer like you used to." So I tease her about that now.
So how old were you when that happened?
When my sister was born?
Mm-hmm. What?
All right, so. Apparently, and then every child is different. So apparently, my mom was talking about having kids. I'm like, no, I want an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
And she explained to me that I couldn't have an older brother because I was already here.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well then, I'm fine. And so she decides to have my sister. I'm just like, I didn't ask for a sister. Not only, I didn't ask you to have a brother. I'm about to go into high school. Why are you having a child now? I was one of those kids.
Wow.
Yes. I'm just like, so yeah, I'm 13 years older than my sister.
I see.
I joke with her. I'm like, that's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. You don't go into high school and your mom is having a kid. Anyway, Trey.
Okay, so you were about 13 when you stopped making yearly trips to Panama.
Correct. And we would go to Panama. I've been to Canada. I've been to Trinidad and Tobago. Been to Georgia or South Carolina. I think it was South Carolina. And not for boot camp, but that was just like to visit, or it was North Carolina. So we made it a point. My mom made it a point for us to travel the world. To travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would try to go back at least every year. And then 2015 was the first time I was able to go back with both my mom and my uncle. That hadn't happened since I was a little bitty thing.
Oh.
So that was why I made it a point to go with them. Mm-hmm. Because my uncle was going to be there too.
Nice.
So we got to tour the area. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. They say the Pacific side is the best side to be on.
Oh, is that where you're from?
No, we're from Columbia.
So that's the Atlantic side?
And I got to see the Panama Canal again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every time I was like, I've been here, I've been there, I've done that. But it's always good. So my husband wants to go with us the next time. He was originally supposed to go with us that time, 2015. Mm-hmm. But he wants to make a trip out there because he's never been out there at all.
All right. Well, I don't blame him. It sounds great.
You have to visit.
And you were mentioning earlier that it's listed in the top 10 happiest countries on Earth.
That is correct. Apparently, well, I don't know where that survey was done, but apparently we are in the top 10% of the happiest people.
That's amazing.
And I'm the president of the Happy Club, so I think that's very good. Coincidence? I think not.
I don't think so. And it's true for those of you who don't know Jovette, she is truly the president of the Happy Club.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Happiness is a choice.
Wow. That's interesting. I feel like I want to contest that, but I would have to think about it. I think we're gonna go ahead and take a little break and just save what we have so far, and then jump back into it in a minute.
Sounds good.
All right, and we're back. So Jovette, you were telling me that you moved from Panama when you were 3 years old.
Correct.
And you're the last member of your family to be born in Panama.
Correct. Everybody younger than myself was born in Brooklyn.
Okay, and so let's talk a little bit about Brooklyn now. Let's just follow the line.
Mm-hmm. Brooklyn, for me, was always a place that I knew that I would never live. Even though I lived there, but when I grew up, I was going to leave, and I knew I wasn't going to live there. I knew I would just, I would move on.
Right.
I knew from a child that I was not going to stay there. My family is still there. I still have family there, and I still have family in Panama. We have family all over, but I just knew.
It wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. I am a more calmer person, less stressed. New Yorkers are normally stressed, like, to the max. I'm just like, calm down, chill out.
Like, why would you choose to subject yourself to that?
And that was the biggest thing. Even when we go back, it's like we'll go back every now and then. The last time, it was a very short visit because I was on a mission to get my car. But before that was Christmas of 2015.
Oh.
And that was, I didn't know, I loved during that time. I went to Rockefeller Center, and we saw the tree, went ice skating, went to Good Morning America. A girlfriend of mine that I went to school with, grade school with, was there, and she works there. So I'm like, oh, and she, she hooked me up.
Oh, really?
So we went, and it was beautiful. And it was warm too. It was perfect for us. But it's just not me. And then I go there, and of course I'm my happy chipper self. I'm like, good morning, happy Wednesday, how you doing?
No one knows how to deal with that up there.
My husband's like tapping me on my thigh, like, cut it out. This is not Texas.
Right. Now, is your husband also from Brooklyn?
He was, he's from Puerto Rico, and he was raised in Brooklyn.
All right.
So I'm from Panama and I was raised in Brooklyn. So we both were raised in Brooklyn. He stayed there longer than I did, obviously. But yes, so he was one of those people that was stressing out. I'm just like, there's no reason.
Now, did you know him in Brooklyn, or did you meet him later in life?
I met him later in life.
So were you in Texas when you met?
Correct. I was. And in fact, he often jokes. He goes, how come I never saw you in Brooklyn? I'm like, well, one, it's a big place. He goes, I think you and I could have been a good couple. I'm like, I don't think so.
No.
I joke with him. I'm like, I don't do that voice. He's like, but now he's not, obviously. He goes, you would have talked to me. I would have talked to you. I'm like, no. Because remember, I had went to an all-girl Catholic high school. Mm-hmm. And then when I was going to public school, up until like either third or fourth grade, I don't remember which one, I had this one little boy. And I remember his name distinctly, so I'm not going to say just in case he lives in San Antonio, but he thought he was the Incredible Hulk. Mm-hmm. He honestly thought, and he would pick me up and do the raw, the old Incredible Hulk, not this new animated stuff. Right. And he would do the whole thing, Lou Ferrigno,
right.
And that was his thing, so my mom's like, okay, yeah, no, this is going to stop. So she got me out, she put me in Catholic school, I stayed there until 8th grade, and then I went to high school. So I was somewhat of a goody two-shoes. What is it? Goody
two-shoes. Goody two-shoes. So you say that this guy was hugging you like the Incredible Hulk, or picking you up off the ground? Mm-hmm. Like, I can't decide if that sounds like Like, is he bullying you? But you told me, actually, he just, like, had a crush on you.
I think that's all. Back then, it's definitely different than now. Mm-hmm. Back then, when boys didn't know how to express themselves, so they would just mess with you to show that they liked you, that kind of thing.
Right.
And that's all it was. Maybe I was traumatized and blocked everything else out. But no, there was, as far as I can remember, he liked me. Because sometimes he would walk me home.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's how I kind of figured out. Like, my mom didn't like him. My mom didn't like anybody liking me. Nothing. Leave my child alone.
Yeah, she wanted you to be a nun or something.
She's like, keep her. And in fact, when it came time after 8th grade, we were looking at our, it's called a homeschool. Mm-hmm. And she was like, okay, yeah, you are not, I think mine was Tilden. She was, you're not going to Tilden. And no, I think it's closed by now. Because she's like, you in public school? Mm-mm. You, Jovette? No. Because I was just, I was pretty much the way I am now. Very happy, very, jolly. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, no, they're going to eat you alive.
Now, you know what? This is something that I'm going to challenge you on, though. Mm-hmm. Earlier, you said that you're more of a country person mm-hmm. because you're chill, but I'm not sure chill is exactly the right word. You are so energetic. You're one of the most energetic people that I know. And so you're not stressed out, but I'm not sure I would use the word chill.
I'll find a different one.
There's got to be a word out there. I don't have it. You don't have it. Maybe somebody out there has it. I don't know. But okay, so let's dive into, I think the next major thing in your life was the Marines.
Correct.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I know earlier you had mentioned that you knew that you wanted to join the Marines since you were 15.
Yes, sir. 15 years old. It was just one of those things. The best way I can explain it, at that time, too, I was dating my first boyfriend. Oh. My first love. Mm-hmm. And he joined the Marine Corps. So my mom was convinced it's because of him joining, that's why I want to join. No. I saw the uniform, I saw the discipline, I saw the fact that it was the biggest and the baddest kind of thing. And it's like, it was a challenge. And I like challenges, so I was like, I'm going to do that too. Yeah. So I started looking into it, and I literally had, all my ducks in a row. But my problem, because I told you when I went into high school, I was 13. Well, I went in 13. My birthday is the way my birthday falls. I went in 13. I came out 14. So when I went my senior year of high school, I went in 16 and came out 17. Mm. So in order for you to join any branch, you have to have a parent's waiver if you're under 18.
Right.
My mom said no. She was adamant, no. Go to college. Go to college. Then if you want to join after you get your degree, then you can do that. I'm like, yeah, no. So I did. The first year. Mm-hmm. Okay, I went to college. The second year.
Where did you go to college?
Oh, at Pace University, upstate New York.
Oh.
And it was like about an hour and a half away or so. And so that was nice. And then I met some really cool friends up there. Mm-hmm. And then my second year, my mom had to end up putting my sister, who's now like a 6-year-old, so she was about 6 years old, and she's like, I think I need to put your sister in private school also. Oh. And I'm just like, okay. I said, well, I can go ahead and join the Marine Corps, and mm-hmm. This way you don't even have to worry about me anymore. She was like, no, I will find a way. My mom was very stubborn too. Mm-hmm. And she's like, no, I'll find a way. I started looking into like doing a nanny job. I was looking at jobs up there and how I can help my mom out mm-hmm. as far as not taking less care of me. And when that started falling through, I'm like, this is my sign. This is my opportunity. So sure enough, I came down on spring break, went straight through because I've been chatting with my recruiter. I went straight through the recruiter. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to sign up because they had been talking to me all these years. Right. And I'm like, okay. And sure, and I came home. I told my mom, I was like, I'm leaving in June. And she was kind of just like, what? More shock. Mm-hmm. And then kind of angry. Right. Because I wasn't the type of child that went against anything that she said. So right. that's what threw her off. That's what truly. So she was upset. She was upset. She goes, what happens if you go to war? And I'm like, and I go to war? No big deal, Mom. Calm down.
Wow. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions mm-hmm. about that. Number one, I guess when you were in the Marines, were you always stationed in the States, or did you have to go overseas?
At that time, they don't do it as much now. At that time, I got to spend 3 years in Okinawa, Japan.
That's amazing.
Loved it.
Oh my God, that's a whole show. That's a whole show. Tell us a little bit about Japan, about Okinawa.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's a small little island, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You can cover it in a couple of hours,
Mm-hmm.
but it is gorgeous. The water is, I snorkeled.
Oh.
And I mean, I just remember my oldest son was born there. My
Mm-hmm.
daughter was conceived there,
Oh.
you know, and I was like, I thought for sure they were going to both be born there. It's beautiful. That's all I can say. It's mind blowing. It is
Mm-hmm.
mind blowing. And I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to go back when my oldest son also joined the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And he got stationed in Okinawa.
Oh, nice.
And he was there for his 21st birthday. So I got to go back and spend his 21st birthday there with him and his fiance, now wife.
Wow.
And that was fun. We're trying to drive around looking for the first place we lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find it. I'm trying to explain to him, but things had changed, obviously, after 21 years.
Right.
And he couldn't find it. He goes, Mom, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I'm like, yes, I do. It's like right here off of Camp Foster. And he's like, and sure enough, we were driving by and I'm like, right there. And scared him half to death.
Wow.
But it's beautiful.
So can civilians go to Okinawa just as a tourist?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I really don't know anything about it, but I think that it's so I know that there's a military base there.
Correct.
And my perception is that the local area is it's not like Tokyo, it's not like cutting edge, it's much more kind of country living.
Correct. I guess if the typical person wanted to go, I'm sure there's stuff that they can, places, hotels and stuff like that they can go to. We still have, I still have people there.
Nice.
In Okinawa. My old church, my old church and my old pastors there and everything. So, if I ever wanted to go back without anybody being in the military, then it would be fine. And in fact, the time that I went to Okinawa, my daughter was also Marine. She was getting ready out. I said, try to get orders to Okinawa so this way you can be here when I'm here. And she couldn't.
Oh.
they didn't give her orders. But then that's where it changes because I'm used to traveling every 2.5 years. I have a traveling problem. And every 2.5 years we would go someplace new. And I love that part. And so my 2.5 year mark out of the States was going to Okinawa. I don't want to stay there. I really, truly would have. But we can't come back.
Wow. All right. That's a lot to take in. I'm going to go ahead and stop it and do another save, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay. And we're back. All right. So we were just talking about Okinawa, your time there. Sounds amazing. Okay. So the other tangent that I kind of wanted to backtrack on was you were in college when you joined the Marines. Now, did you know at that point what you were in college for?
I was going to be an accountant.
Oh, right.
And I would want to say it was probably like halfway through college. That's when my mom was having a little bit of difficulty, just a little. And I was just like, I need to make some changes. But I think if I was to change anything, because like I said, she was adamant. Like, I can make it happen. I'm like, I'll just go ahead and join. And when I left, in fact, I had made it a point that I was never going back to college again.
Oh, really? Why?
I was just like, I'm done. Because at that point, I already knew what rank I was going to be, at what point I was going to be, at what year it was going to be, and up until a corporal, definitely before I got my good conduct medal, for 3 years. And then a sergeant in 5, and then a staff sergeant in about, I wanted to say it was either 7 or 8. Which is underneath everything. Then the whole plan was to go to the MESEP program, which is where you're still in, but you're going to college back then. And then you would go in as an officer. And then I figured I didn't have the officer rank picks up as far as where it was going to be. But then I had my colonel. That's what I was going to retire as. After 30 years, I was going to retire after 30 years, and I'll be a colonel. I'm like, after 30 years, even with enlisted, I should be a brigadier general. So then that was my goal.
Wow.
I had it all planned out. And then God intervened. It was like, no. My favorite verse is Jeremiah 29:11 through 13.
Okay.
It's about his plan that it just didn't happen. It really, truly, that's the best way. I had to just accept it. Because when I I had gotten medically discharged. And when I went into a state of depression. Believe it or not, I was not happy for about 18 months.
Wow.
It took
Even Jovette.
Yes. I don't know how to put it. I was a happy depressed person. But that doesn't make sense. But
No, really.
it was just more of, okay, now what? If all my life was me wanting to be a Marine, and I'm still a Marine, once a Marine, always a Marine. But that was my whole life planned out. What do I do now? And that was the issue. It was me be like, what do I do now? What can I do now? You know, and that's once it was like 18 months. I remember exactly where I was, and it was just like, are you done? It's like, are you done pouting? Because you can't change it, right?
Right.
You're injured. There's nothing you can do to change it. So now you're just gonna have to decide to do something else. And that's how God gave me the idea of being a teacher.
Wow. All right. So tell me about teaching.
It is fun.
Really?
It is fun.
So how long have you been a teacher for?
10 years.
10 years.
I had stopped about a year and a half ago. And I was like, okay, I'm done. All my kids have graduated. I can go out and travel the world now.
Right.
And that was my plan. I was like, okay, I really, truly was done teaching. And it's like my certificate was up. And I'm like, okay, so I'll either get a job at USAA, which, you know, is like on the other side of town, or I'll get a job right here on base on Randolph. That would be fun. Or even Fort Sam. Oh, and I told my husband, like, how about we go do a contracting job and go to Dubai? And at first he was like, what? Why are we going to Dubai? I'm like, I just went, you know, I went to the American GI Forum. I spoke to this American Army vet, and he was talking about how Dubai is good and being a contracting job and this and that. I'm like, it sounds interesting. We can go do that. We're empty nesters. It's like, we can go travel now. We can travel the world. Yeah, right. None of that came through. I applied, don't get me wrong, but it was just like, yeah, no, doors shut. Like, that's not where I want you. So then finally, last year, it was a time was just like, are you done?
Right.
God he does that a lot to me. Are you done?
Right.
So then, sure enough, I got a job like within a couple of months after to be another teacher. So I teach 6th grade. So I've taught 5th graders and 6th graders, and it's just, I think for me, is planting that seed in them because I don't know how to explain it. You can see the light, and I do what I call Make a Difference Monday.
Okay. And
I show a video of some sort that will kind of make them think and make them not kind of get out of their own little world. Social skills. Right. You know how they say common sense is so common? Right. Well, social skills isn't so common either.
No, it isn't.
They don't know how to say please and thank you. Or, you know, a good chunk of them. You know, just the little things that they should know, how to be nice to each other, to respect each other, agree to disagree. You know, just stuff that we were taught as kids. They don't have that. So I'm just making my point to teach them, plant the seed.
Wow.
They're getting social studies and social skills. But that's like every week. Great. And I use it as a leverage. I'm like, okay, you can't behave, so I guess we're going to have to cancel Make a Difference Monday. No, miss, no, we're going to be good. We're going to be good.
Oh, they Make a Difference Monday.
They do. It's usually a video, a poem, maybe a quote. You know, I just try to change it up, but they seem to like the videos. They do like the videos. So I like making a difference in their lives. That was the biggest thing.
Well, that sounds great. What about difficult students? Do you have difficult students?
Most definitely.
Really? And of course, you don't let that get you down.
Nope. I don't. And I think when a child is difficult, and because they're kids, they have the tendency of not being able to express themselves in a manner like, if you're an adult, like, hey, this is hurting me. This is what happened at home. I'm not feeling too good. You know, they don't have that communication skills in that aspect. Right. And some of these kids have some rough lives. You know, so I think that's where that toughness comes in. But they usually end up breaking down. I find some way I can connect with them. And it usually is to Make a Difference Monday, or it'll be something that they'll talk about and that will catch, like, you know, miss, you know, this is this. I'm like, really? And so I have that link. In fact, I had a student of mine gave me it's not a happy book, Happy Thoughts maybe. But I put her card, I taped it inside, and she put, thank you for teaching us how to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. She goes, thank you for teaching me social studies, but also how to be awesome. So it's little things
That's
like that.
adorable.
It is. It really is. And that was kind of why my husband and I were talking, because we'd run into old students, and they were telling me how much they loved me and how much they loved the subject, and I made it interesting, and they really enjoyed it, and they haven't seen a teacher like me. And my husband's there, you know, there's a couple of them, and he's just like, do you see? I'm like, yes, I get it. So that's why I came back. That's why I came back. Now, if I'm retiring, I have no idea. Let's not go too far.
Okay.
Right now, I'm working.
Okay. So you used to have such a very specific plan for this is when I'm going to do this, this is when I'm going to do that. And it sounds like now you're leaving it more open-ended.
Yes.
You're just saying, this is what I'm doing right now.
Yes. And this is what I know what I would like to do, and that's it. That is it. And I usually have a plan A, plan B, plan C. I'm not that type of person.
You're very organized.
Yes. Yes.
Being an organized person, is it difficult for you to leave it open-ended?
Yes. It's a challenge.
So explain how that change came about, or why that change came about.
My injury. It was a humbling experience. Simply because I told you, I had my whole career planned out. And then when you get injured, and it knocks the wind out of you. You ever been punched really hard in your stomach and you can't breathe?
Yeah.
That's what it does. And so I had to pretty much surrender. I was like, okay. And you take it day by day, but yet you plan in advance. Like, I still want to travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if I'll do a contracting job in Dubai, but
right.
Unless there's someone who has connections.
That's right. Let her know on her website. I'm going to post a link below somewhere, wherever I can do that. I'll have to look into that in a minute, but you can definitely contact Jovette. All right. Listen, let's go ahead. We've been talking for a few minutes, about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and use this as a time to save, and we'll pick it back up in a minute. Okay, thanks for listening to the first episode of the Apartment 210 podcast. Check in with us in about a week for the second half of my interview with Jovette, where she'll talk more about her life-changing injury, her philosophy and tips on parenting, what motivated her to become a teacher, her work as a health and fitness coach, and her appearance on the Dave Ramsey Show, among other topics. Again, I'm your host, Jason, and this is Apartment 210. Thanks for listening.